family members who actually have a son and a daughter on these posters. 2007, Mr. Ray Tranchant got a phone call that no parent ever wants to get. I'm not going to begin to try and tell you how he must feel. I'm going to let him tell you himself. It's a horrible tragedy. It's happening every single day in America.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here with you great men and women, and I'm a great study of immigration reform. Before Tessa's death, I was very concerned about national security. I'm a retired naval officer, and was that with all the drugs coming over the border and all the people sneaking in, that there would be a time after 9/11 that 1 pound of C4 plastique would make its way here and hurt a lot of people because the border was like a sieve. So I had concerns before Tessa's death that we should secure the borders anyway. Imagine that, you know, the amount of cocaine and marijuana that makes it across the border for profit's sake, the amount of human trafficking, but 1 pound of C4 plastique or even a bale of C4 plastic can pretty much take many of these buildings out. So that scares me, that there are people plotting those type of things in the world and that we have a weak spot at our borders, so they have to be secured. This resolution, H.R. 3168, that Mr. Jones and Mr. King are introducing into Congress, is one more step in making American cities and municipalities and states enforce U.S. laws, to enforce them. And if they don't, according to this bill, well, it's a funding problem. And that's sometimes the only way you can get the attention of the people. Imagine, a federal law is cocaine trafficking. Imagine if I were a city or a state and we decided, because of our political feelings, that we're not going to arrest people for that in this state. Well, it's a federal law. And enforcing federal laws are what the government has to ensure in the country. So some people say, well, that's not a parallel. It is to me. 286G is a federal law. It says that you will participate in immigration and customs. You will help those people, identify folks, report them if needed, and secure the borders. And H.R. 3168 is a law that will take money away from Homeland Security if they don't. So that's a good thing. Let me say that the current administration doesn't really have a policy. And that scares me too, because it's fuzzy. They have a wish list of things they like to do, but until another election, we really don't see. So we're stuck between election cycles, which is absolutely absurd. That's a great way to, and between election cycles, the sieve keeps bringing more and more people over illegally. I think amnesty diminishes the allegiance of the immigrants themselves, the ones who followed the legal process. For example, my mother is an immigrant from Ireland. I helped her study for her citizenship test. It took her 6 years to get her citizenship here in America. My father is French, his father's French and Belgian, and Tessa's grandmother, my deceased daughter, is from primarily Chihuahua, Mexico. She's partially Hispanic, and all of those felt that it was important enough to follow the procedures, become Americans, and be nationalists. They had to speak English for safety reasons in the factories and coal mines, because that's where my family worked. And they had to pass a citizenship test, of course. They had to stay out of trouble. They had to have public health and birth records to verify their age. Imagine if amnesty happened and there are, let's say, 10 million people and they don't have birth records. Wouldn't it behoove them to be 10 years older so that they can draw Social Security 10 years before everybody else? That bothers me. When my kids were born, they had Social Security numbers. The government's been tracking Americans since birth. And all of a sudden, this amnesty thing would happen, and they would get benefits that even Americans weren't entitled to if they weren't honest. How could that happen? ICE continues to prioritize enforcement of the laws by the hottest crisis on the moment. You know, I've sat and watched Secretary Morton talk about the numbers. I've sat and watched Janet Napolitano talk about the numbers, and they're right. The numbers are up, but up from zero looks good politically. They talk about the previous president. Trust me, I'm not happy with the numbers when he was in, and the president before him. So when are we going to take action? Now. Securing the borders. We can do it, by the way. Military installations are secure. Area 51 secure. Why is it? It's the size of a small state. No one penetrates those borders there. And if they do, they're caught immediately and they're debriefed. So we can't secure the borders. I think we can. My late daughter Tessa and her friend Allison Kuhnhart in the picture in front of you, they were killed in Virginia Beach by a repeat DUI offender, an illegal with a fake driver's license. And that's another great trade in America, selling fake driver's license, selling fake ID. He was handed off many times, and it was not a priority call to ICE for deportation. It could have been because of the political stature of the city. Maybe they were a sanctuary city. So that throws in too. We have cities that just don't want to cooperate. We have mayors from San Francisco who fly people, illegals, back to their home country without talking to the government. That's true. So Tessa's call was not a priority to ICE. And by the way, there were 8 ICE agents in our area as well. They're overwhelmed, and we know that. The Border Patrol people are definitely overwhelmed. We watch TV shows, reality TV shows, where, you know, they can just barely scrape the surface, and we keep talking about sending more people and more people, but it's just not enough. I think that right now, the Hispanics I know generally are concerned about America as well, and they worry about the current administration focusing on potential Hispanic votes and not about American Hispanic safety and prosperity. I know that the area of Chicago particularly would like amnesty because there would be more Hispanic votes and they would become more popular. You know, that's really not, I don't think, what American Hispanics want. Once again, these and many more victims of crimes committed by illegal immigrants are lost in the justice system, sometimes invisible or waiting under deportation order. There are many, many more stories in sanctuary cities. ICE doesn't even get a call, which is another problem driven by politics. So this is politics. Politics killing Americans. In closing, I just want to show you, I go across my pictures all the time, but you know, Halloween came up, and this was Tessa, you know, when she was 5 at Halloween, and you know, I kind of miss her. And when she was 16 in high school, this is a picture I took of her. She was just growing up, just becoming a little woman, and she got a job. And her friend Allie, who died with her, both were working, and they were getting money, and they were feeling good about themselves. And she was just turning into a woman, and I was very proud of her. And this is a picture of her and Allie on a vacation, and they just were really close and good kids, and they perished one night by an illegal immigrant. So I hope these guys continue to support actions that keep America safe. I'm an American and a nationalist. I don't look at people by race, creed, or color, because I look at them as national Americans. And if we all kind of took that attitude, we'd be offended if people tried to take the equal in stature to our citizenship, because I'm very proud of mine. So I'm going to turn it over to Congressman.